So here I am with Dorothy again. I thought I would show off some of the little features that she's got going on. Won't play the sound system because that's really loud and it can just get a little annoying. So first, let's see here. What's this one? So that's those right there. There's the fronts. Some of these switches can just be a little touchy. There we go. So, these gauges read battery power, at least these two. And it's the same thing on the back. Remember which switch it is for these. There we go. Okay, yeah. Which is really freaking cool. Oop, come on. There we go. So, yep, there she is. So, got these controls up here for the lights and all that. This controls the siren, but the builder had the great idea of, since she's going to be staying in the truck for the most part, down here are controls to run the siren and all that happy stuff. See? Loud. There's a button to control, there's a button for the siren, and then the button next to that is to play the score from the movie. And so, here's the sensor tray. So this tray that you're seeing in here with the two handles, that's a tray I had custom made because I wanted to use this as a really cool party trick where I can put ice and like beer or soda or whatever into here. So if I hit the button to release this to make the lid go up, I always thought it would be hilarious to just reach in and like pull out a beer and be like, who wants a beer or something like that. So these are the correct vintage. Oh, I'm trying to remember when Davis came out with these. I think it was the early 90s. These are the correct anemometers. They're, I'm not going to say easy to find, but they're not hard to find either. But it is vintage 90s plastic. I've already broken the wind cups on that one. Thankfully, the builder had a second set that he just sent to me. So, this Dorothy has a lot of features on it. Obviously, yeah, the ones that I just showed you. I have another video where I show what's inside the barrel underneath the sensor tray. So this one has, there was, I think, 6 to 8 Dorothys made, and every single one of them was different. Every single one of them was different. And then you get the added confusion of every single Dorothy was different from themselves in pretty much every single scene, because parts kept breaking. So this Dorothy is loosely based off the one that when the opening, or the first time when you see Dorothy, when Helen Hunt hits the button and the lid opens, when you see the lid pop up and then open, it is a very specific Dorothy. And the way that I tell Dorothy's apart is by this weld line. We tried to get it close, but the Dorothy in the movie that has the actual opening lid has the weld line going through the D. So I wanted to focus on making this one look like that one. So this one's pretty much just like an amalgamation of all the Dorothys out there. Like, this is more in position of, it's very close to the position of the one that I was just talking about, the weld line that's like that, but it doesn't stick farther down like the real one does. It's more, I would say, Dorothy 4, I think. That Dorothy didn't have this in it. I think the only Dorothy that had this this little plate here, labeled A and B with these two cables, is the one that got crushed underneath the Jeep, which now lives in Waukeeta, Oklahoma at the Twister Museum. So, I may be wrong. It's been a while since I did that research into every single Dorothy. But, yeah, there she is. There's still some things to change. Most predominantly, I think, is eventually this Doppler dish and this Doppler box are going to get changed out. And it does kind of rest up against the barrel. I have yet to figure out a real fix to keep that from happening. But I did find in the behind the scenes stuff that I have, you can see where that has been rubbing against the actual real Dorothy's. And then the stickers have already gone away. This piece right here, the real thing is a WM Wild Magnavox GPS receiver. So this is from one of the very first GPS sets that were ever made. This is a recreation. I have never seen this part come up for sale. The real one, the actual thing, not this recreation, I've actually only seen it come up once. Just once, and of course I missed out on the auction. But that's what it is. GPS receiver. This thing is supposed to be a Doppler dish for Doppler radar and all that. I always thought it was like satellite or something, but watching old school Project Vortex footage, they had two of these set up, and it looks exactly like that. So that leads me to believe it's a Doppler dish. Another vintage piece that we have on here is these. These are World War II gunner sight little things. Can't remember the exact name for them, but let's see here. Because they were made by two companies. Yeah, this one's Fairchild, which you can see right there. And then there was another company called Lackner that also made them. There's another vintage piece right there, correct piece, that is the... Oh, man. Can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's a 10-platter solar radiation dish. And what this part actually is, it doesn't have it, but there is like a humidity sensor that goes in here, or any other sensor that you want protected from solar radiation that goes in here. And then, since these are gilled, it lets air or whatever in, and it lets it read. Then that piece right there, I still have no idea what that actually is, but we recreated it. There's still some things to do on her. There's still some things to change. But for this Dorothy, my second Dorothy I've ever done, I wanted to see how close we could get. It isn't a case of like elitism to say like, oh, I have the most accurate Dorothy or something like that. No, it's more for me just to be like, to know how close we can get her. And that way, once we finally get done, which we're almost there, I could put the info out so that whoever else wants to build one of these to this level, to get this accurate, I want to help them do that. So, yeah, there she is. The balls in here are just very similar sized acrylic craft balls. They actually do make the hemispheres that they used in the movie. They still make those. They're actually aircraft parts. And they're $9 for two sets, or rather, a top and a bottom set of the hemisphere. $9 for one sensor ball. So I'm not going to spend that. But I'm just going to get close enough because, I mean, other than us prop crazy people, especially us Twister people, we're not going to really know. They're just going to be, well, I already know they're going to be disappointed that, hey, where's the soda pop can things? I'm like, well, I'm going with Dorothy II. this plus my Ram, which is right here in all her dirty glory, is supposed to represent the truck on the Ram's first storm chase. So, Dorothy II. Eventually, since I will be storm chasing in this, eventually this truck will get hail damage, and eventually I will have my construction company friend drop a telephone pole on this thing. Which is going to very much anger second-gen Dodge Ram owners, but, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll actually do that, maybe I won't. But, yeah, here's Dorothy in all her glory.